What's going on with your YouTube? The TheCaliEffect, king of games here. And today, yes, as you guys can see, I downloaded a Yu-Gi-Oh! Emulator so I can show you guys even more replays. In this particular duel analysis, we're going to be showing off how good is Odd Eyes. What? Never would have thought that I would be seeing Odd Eyes in 2019 and it being able to make some plays. So we got to give a mad shout out to our guy, Lewis Maclean. And if you guys want to show an awesome replay on the best channel in the world, then go ahead and send a link or a YDK file to duelanalysis@gmail.com. Now, normally I used to only accept Duelinbook replays, but obviously with the new emulator, we'll be able to see those, YDKs or Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro replays as well. So Lewis Maclean says, hey man, I hope I'm saying your name right, by the way. Saw your post asking for replays and lots of gremlins begging for Odd Eyes deck profiles in the comments. I don't think people understood exactly how that worked. When I made a post, I was like, hey, if you guys have a replay, then go ahead and send it in. They're like, Odd Eyes deck profile, Odd Eyes deck profile. Like, no, that's not one of those things. But anyways, notably, some of the replays feature a couple of new cards, the new Endemian cards, and or the new Phantasma Dragon. And the new Advanced Dragon might be decent, but it seems bricky. The main play of the deck is to set up Arc Pin Dragon and Persona Dragon in the scale, then pin 3 or 4 monsters, and then pop Odd Eyes with Pendulum Dragon, Sky Iris, or Gate 0 to summon Dissolver and go into Vortex. Going first, you try to go into the Rank Up Magic Filth with the Absolute Dragon and or make Vortex Dragons, Personas, or Endemians in addition to the Vortex. Going second, you use Synchros, Gatling Ghoul, or just Boral Sword. His 2 long doing really is watch the Cyber Dragon Danger, and playing through 3 Jackals replay. So opening up with his first hand, he's actually going to make Persona Dragon, Dragon Shrine, Time Gazer, Abyss Actor, Curtain Raiser, and another Dragon Shrine in his hand. And this is a pretty good hand. He's basically going to get 2 the Electromite for practically free. He can activate Curtain Scale. Oh no, we can't activate Curtain Scale and Dragon Shrine. So we can activate Shrine and then normal summon his Curtain Raiser or his Time Gazer Magician and make the Electromite. Let's go ahead and see how awesome this is. So we're gonna go ahead and start off. He's gonna obviously summon a Dark Worm, then normal summon a Time Gazer, making a Electromite. He's gonna send Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon to his hand and then search it. So let's go ahead and pause right there so we can look at Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. This is the Big Daddy card for any Odd Eyes deck, because basically what it does is if an Odd Eyes card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon Odd Eyes monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. You can only use the effect of Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon once per turn. So its Pendulum effect allows you to spew out Odd Eyes Dragons and basically allows him to go into that Dissolver combo, whatnot, and then make some plays. And as you guys can see, we're going to be playing against a Cyber Dragon deck that looks, oh man, I was going to say it's really close to my build, but as we look into it, there's some cards that I definitely would not play inside of DNA Surgery. I wouldn't play the Power Bond or One Day of Peace, but still, it's a reputable Cyber Dragon deck. It's not a terrible one. So we're going to go ahead and continue off with the play. He's going to start off by Pendulum summoning for 2 this time, destroying him for a Vortex, triggering his Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, and then being able to special summon Dissolver. He's going to go ahead and make that Vortex Dragon and pass his turn. And pausing again, this might not seem like the best of hands. I probably would have made the the Zephyr Metaltron. I think that the Time Gazer was from the extra deck, if I remember correctly. Yes, because he used it to make the Electromite. So Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, or not Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, Zephyr Metaltron would have been a decent pick, but let's see how this plays out. So he's going to go ahead and start off. He's going to Kaiju to Vortex and then make Cyber Dragon Dre, and then special summon Cyber Dragon Fear to his side of the field, making Nova, then Infinity to snatch a monster. And he didn't have any materials to actually place under it. No, he didn't. So that's crazy. He's going to be able to attack over the Electromite and then pass his turn with 1 negate, 3 cards in his hand, and pass it right back to my man. So Sky Iris is going to go ahead and use this effect. He's going to go ahead and put up some Pendulum Scales, special summoning a Performance Odd Eyes Synchron, and then making Metaphys Horus to trigger the Odd Eyes Infinity Negate. That is pretty crazy. And since it used a Pendulum monster, your opponent chooses one monster they control and gives it to you, and you can target one other face-up card on the field, negate that target's effects. Whoa, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. But it's going to go ahead and get negated. He's still going to be able to gain that monster to his side of the field. He's going to Dragon Shrine another monster to his side of the field and pin summon to his side of the field and then pass his turn. going right back to our other player, he's going to start off with the Cyber Repair Plant. Unfortunately for our man Lewis, he has 2 copies of Cyber Repair Plant going into the core, and now we can follow it with a Machine Duplication play, and it's going to be pretty deadly for the opponent using Cyber Dragon. No, but especially summon Cyber Dragon. Wait, timeout, pause. Did my man's really just make Infinity in the, did he not have any? No, I don't think he had any extenders. That is unfortunate, just having to make Infinity right here. No, yeah, no, he wouldn't have been able to have those 2 monsters, so that's very unfortunate, but keep going. He's going to go ahead and use the Infinity to take it, but Persona does have a negate in itself. He's going to go ahead and negate the Persona and get the Odd-Eyes Vortex Dragon to his side of the field. Then summon Seeger to destroy a monster and pass his turn. I apologize that these cards aren't necessarily showing up too soon, but it is what it is. So we're going to go ahead and pause this because I have no idea what this card does. Servant in Endymion. Each time a spell card is activated, you can place 1 spell counter on this card. You can remove 3 spell counters from this card to spell summon both this card from your Pendulum Zone and 1 monster with 1,000 or more attack that you can place a spell counter on from your deck. And if you do, place 1 spell counter on each of them. Its monster effect is, if this card with a spell counter can attack directly, it has 900 attack. Once per turn, quick effect, you can discard 1 card. Place 1 spell counter on this card, and each card you control that you can't place a spell counter on. This card in the main monster zone is destroyed. You can place this card in the Pendulum Zone. Then spell counters on this card equal to the number of spell counters that were on this card. That's pretty freaking good. And then what Endymion Founding Sorcerer does, you can remove 6 spell counters from this card, spell summon this card from your Pendulum Zone, then destroy cards on the field up to the number of cards you control that you can place a spell counter on. And if you do, place spell counters on this card equal to the number of cards destroyed. You can only use the Endymion Founding Sorcerer once per turn. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card or its effect is activated, you can return 1 card you control with a spell counter to the hand. And if you do negate the activation, if you do that, destroy the card, then you can place spell counters on this card equal to the number of spell counters that will return to this card. Your opponent cannot target this card with a spell counter. Your opponent cannot target this card with a spell counter with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. When this card with a spell counter is destroyed by battle, you can add 1 normal spell from your deck to your hand. That is a lot of effects, ladies and gentlemen. So he's basically going to order out 2 big monsters to his side of the door just for his opponent playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And now he is in the driver's seat using Pendulum Sorcerer to destroy the Persona. He's going to go ahead and trigger Arc Pendulum Dragon and just summon big bodies to his side of the field. And then Synchro Summon into Ignister to, get destroyed by Cybernetic Overflow. But he's going to actually have the form of being able to still put monsters on his board to beat our man Samuel. Now, that was a really exciting duel. I'm pretty excited to see what else this deck has to offer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on to the next game. And immediately we're like, oh, danger. But then you're like, what in tarnation is my man Teddy Payne playing? Is that a Sky Striker Mobilize Engage in his hand with danger monsters? He's also going to open up Fantastical Dragon Phantasma and a Dino Wrestler Pankratrops. So it's a really interesting hand of monsters that want to be on the side of the field, combined with a card that doesn't want monsters in the main monster zone. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this opens up. And now my man Lewis is going to open up with Shanky, I'm pretty sure I butchered that card's name. Duelist Alliance, Foolish Burial, Supreme King, Gate Zero, and Odd Eyes Persona. He's not opening the best of hands, but he's opening something. He's going to be able to go first using Foolish Burial to bring out that Supreme King Dark Worm, then going ahead and activating Gate Zero using the Duelist Alliance to go ahead and special summon or normal summon the Performable Sorcerer, eventually making his Metal Foe Electromite. Now the opponent's going to go ahead and special summon that Fanatical Dragon, but it does not matter, as Lewis is going to be able to special summon 3 monsters to his side of the field using the effect of Sorcerer to destroy a Persona, and then triggering the effect of his Arc Dragon to special summon a Dissolver to his side of the field. Chronograph subsequently is going to be summoned to the side of the field as well as Persona, and now he's going to be able to make that board that he wants, making Meteor Burst Dragon to summon the Performer Pal monster, but not before he makes it to his Underclock Taker, triggering the effects and then making his Rusty Bardic. He's essentially going to go ahead and lock his opponent out of his turn by, on their main phase, after they summon Dino Wrestler Pankratrops using Wake Up Magic Launch, but it's going to be stopped by the Dino Wrestler Pankratrops effect, which is going to be stopped by the Odd Eyes Vortex. So he's going to make that King Kali Yuga, being able to negate all those monsters on the field, and while Teddy Payne can start popping up with his combos, it almost does not matter, because any monster that he's going to summon to his side of the field, effects is negated. So yeah, it's not really good for him right now. He's still going to be able to pop up with certain cards, just not all of the cards he wants to pop off with. You combine that with King Kali Yuga being a 3,500 body, and just the fact that he's going to still be able to Pendulum Summon, he's going to still be able to get something going. So he's going to go ahead and Synchro Summon into Clear Wing, the Supreme Clear Wing, and then Gatlin Ghoul to his side of the field. Really interesting card. What exactly does Gatlin Ghoul do? It requires a Performance Power monster, +1 level 5 or higher Dark monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card on the field. Then if this card was fusion summoned using a Pendulum monster as material, destroy one monster your opponent controls. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. Whoa, that is a pretty good card. So he's going to take 3,000 damage. It would have been game. No, it wouldn't have been game, but it would have been a lot more damage if Gatlin Ghoul would have been in the attack. And now Teddy Payne's going to be able to activate his Orcuss version, only putting a Nightmare in the defense. This game is pretty much already over. Lewis has complete control of the game, being able to Pendulum summon Steel and then use Sorcerer to destroy his Persona Dragon and then keep going and keep going. This deck is like the bunny rabbit from the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going and going. Really awesome to see him not only make a board with King Kali Yuga, but Odd Eyes still being able to stay true to its values, making Vortex, making perform about Gatlin Ghoul. Never would have thought that would have been possible. And still abusing cards like Metaphys Horror, something that Pendulum is really good for. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so the third and final game. I wanted to show you guys all of them, but I thought that would have been just a little bit too much. But go ahead and like this video up, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys want to see more duel analysis, more videos of you guys on the TheCaliEffect, I think that this Lewis game was pretty awesome. I also think that doing duel analysis is really fun, but it's always up to you guys, the viewers, to decide if you guys want to see a series like this. So in this particular hand, or in this particular play, it says playing through 3 Jackal Kings and looking into our opponent's deck, he has, whoa, this is insane. This looks like a Mythical Beast Endymion deck with a little bit of spice into it, a little bit of the Magician. So it's a 60 card Endymion spicy deck, spicy pendulums, and it looks like he drew a pretty good hand. Let's see how he's going to make those 3 Jackals. Playing into the sequence, he's going to go ahead and start off by using a Lure Darkness. I don't know why you play a Lure Darkness in decks like this, but still, he's going to Lure Darkness into his Royal Magical Library, and it looks like this deck is actually going to have the ability to put 3 counters, at least 3 counters in that Royal Magical Library, allowing him to draw a card. So we're going to go ahead and keep playing. Jackal Queen's going to go ahead and serve him the Jackal. The Jackal is going to go ahead and destroy itself, placing another counter. He's going to go ahead and draw right into his Magical City of Endymion. And now he's going to place more counters on his cards, summoning that Mystical Beast Jackal to his side of the field. Then Pendulum calling both Black Fang and Purple Poison to his side of the field. He's then going to go ahead and special summon that Mythical Beast Jackal to his side of Jackal King to his side of the field. Now activating more scales and then Pendulum summoning the last 2 Jackals to his side of the field. So before we get into this, he has a Mythical Beast Jackal King with 4 counters, another one with no counters, or 2 more with no counters, but he does have 2 counters on that Magical City Endymion, which allows him to use 2 of those counters to use the effect of one of his Jackal Kings. So he's essentially set up with 2 negates. The only problem with this is that unless you're playing a Danger Thunder Dragon deck, you're probably going to have to activate spell cards in your beginning sequence. So all 3 of these Jackal Kings will be live against most decks, allowing him to negate 3 monster effects, which is critical to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So going ahead to our man Lewis, he's going to go ahead and draw a pretty decent hand, activating that Servant of Endymion. But look, every time he activates a card, he's going to put counters on all of his opponent's cards. So Jackal Kings are going to get counters. This maxes out at 3, but these cards, his Jackal Kings and his Endymion, does not max out. He can put as many counters as he wants to on those cards, and they'll just get bigger and bigger and better, and he'll be able to activate and resolve more effects. So Lewis being able to activate his Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, trying to get some, I don't know, some board against this. He has to play through 3 negates, ladies and gentlemen, and Electromite, I think, is mandatory. No, it's you can. The draw effect is mandatory, but still, if you want to be able to get full usage, you got to risk it for the biscuit. I mean, actually don't do that because, it's guaranteed he's going to negate that monster effect. So he's going to go ahead and not use Electromite's effect, but activate that Supreme King Gate 0 so we can Pendulum summon to his side of the field first. Bringing the, and this was really smart. I have to pause this. Oops. I have to pause this because this was really smart. He put the Harmonizing Magician as Chainlink 1 and the Perform Pendulum Sorcerer is Chainlink 2. So now Jackal Kings can only negate the last thing in a Chainlink. They're not Effect Veiler. They can only negate the Perform Pendulum Sorcerer. His Harmonizing Magician will go through, which is amazing. Putting it in the other way, I think that would have probably been a mistake just because Harmonizing Magician is just so powerful. But go ahead and playing into this, he's also going to Chainlink 3 into his Endymion, Founding of Supreme. and then make his Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. So this is one of those things that you have to do. You have to attack into his Mythical Beast Jackal King. The only thing that I disagree with is attacking this one in the main monsters or in the extra monster zone. And the reason why I disagree with it is because, let's say hypothetically, because I'm not, maybe he knows he can break this board, so it doesn't matter, but I would never attack a monster in the extra monster zone first in this particular situation, because if you attack into one of these monsters and leave this on the board, that he has to use this monster for a link summon. Like, he has to. There's like no ifs, ands, and buts. This monster must be used for a link summon, which is advantageous. But I have a strong feeling in this particular situation that he's gonna break this board fairly easily. So he's gonna trigger that Violet or that Purple Poison Magician. Not that it really mattered. We already knew that Purple Poison Magician was gonna activate. And he's gonna go ahead and destroy his Endemian monster. So now the Endemian monster wants to use the effect to get a spell. He's gonna go ahead and negate that with the Jackal King. But then he's going to go ahead and start attacking over his monster, slowly breaking his board using Vortex Effect to negate his own attack and special summon a monster. He's going to go ahead and use his second Jackal King to negate that. To be honest with you guys, I don't know. I think that was a mistake. I think that was a mistake, because if he would have allowed the negation go through, he would have spell summoned Meteor Burst. Meteor Burst would have attacked over one. Like, regardless, you're going to lose one, but now you're going to lose one, and you're facing against a Vortex Dragon, and you allowed Arc Pendulum Dragon's effect to activate. And you can't stop Arc Pendulum Dragon because that's a pendulum effect. That's technically a spell right now. You can't stop that. I don't know if you can stop this. I'm not sure how many negates you went through. But he's going to go ahead and special... Oh, yeah, he's going to go ahead and special summon that Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon and then destroy the Jackal and the Royal Magical Library, using it to fusion summon into his Perform About Gatling Ghoul to inflict damage and destroy the last Jackal. And yeah, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to go ahead and... that was obvious. That was an obvious misplay. That was a very obvious misplay, because we saw that we attacked into the Purple Poison Magician, and Pendulum Call protected the Purple Poison Magician from being destroyed, but allowed him to activate the effect. Using Spiral Flame Strike to destroy the Black Fang Magician literally just fed another 47 freaking counters. That is insane. I don't even know what to say. One game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Put 47 counters on Magical City and Damien. Fire Weasel can do whatever he wants if he actually had things to do, but that is still crazy. He's going to go ahead and start off his turn with Spell Power Grasp, but nothing else to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With. I don't know. I think he could have... Oh, man, I really wanted to see that, but I think he could have Pendulum Summoned. No, he still had a negate. So, yeah, I think that was pretty much game. But let me show you guys this deck profile, because it was really exciting to watch. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our deck profile consists of 3 copies of Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. This is the Big Daddy card. This is the card that you want to go into. 3 copies of Odd Eyes Persona Dragon. 1 copy of Odd Eyes Phantasma Dragon. You can discard 1 card, add 1 Dragon Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Odd Eyes Phantasma Dragon once per turn. If you have 2 or more cards in your Pendulum zones and or face up Odd Eyes Pendulum monsters in your extra deck, you spell summon this card from your hand. You cannot Pendulum Summon the turn you activate this effect. If this card attacks an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can make that opponent's monster lose 1,000 attack for each face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck. During that damage calculation only, you can use each effect of Odd Eyes Phantasma Dragon once per turn. 1 Odd Eyes Perform About Odd Eyes Dissolver. 2 copies of Perform About Odd Eyes Synchron. 1 Pendulum Sorcerer. 1 copy of Supreme King Gate Zero, which actually did bottom in the butt a little bit, but I mean, sometimes you just got to run that risk. 3 copies of Chronograph Sorcerer, Time Gazer Magician, 1 Harmonizing Magician, 1 Purple Poison Magician, 1 Janky Magician, 3 copies of Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser, 3 copies of Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. I think, personally, that you should probably play more of this. This, in my humble opinion, is like the best thing for Pendulums, and especially since you're playing 2 Dragon Shrines and a Foolish Burial, it almost makes sense. Like, it feels really bad not to play it, but I can see your reasoning. I can see your reasoning. Opening this is not opening this. You know what I mean? So, 3 copies of Mythical Beast Master Cerberus, 1 Jackal King, 1 Garuda, 1 copy of Endemian of Founder Sorcerer Supreme. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the TCG name. 2 copies of Servant Endemia for the spells, 3 Duelist Alliance, 1 Pendulum Call, 3 Spiral Flame Strike, 2 copies of Dragon Shrine, Foolish Burial, 2 copies of Spell Power Control, 1 Sky Iris, 1 Terraforming, 1 Phantom Knight Silent Boots, and then the Rank Up Magic launch. For the extra deck, Odd Eyes Vortex, Gatling Ghoul, Metaphys Horrors, Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, Supreme King Clearwing. He basically summoned almost every single card in his extra deck. Ignister, Odd Eyes, Odd Eyes Absolute, Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, which complements the DDD Don King Kali Yuga, the Metalfoes Electromite, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 The Phantom Knight's Rusty Bardic, 1 Zephyr Metatron, and Brawl Sword Dragon. For the side deck, it's pretty simple. 3 Call by the Grave, 3 Twin, 3 Red Reboot, 3 Struggling Battle. Whoa, something needs to change here. And 3 Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of Duel Analysis. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I appreciate you, Lewis, for sharing your Odd Eyes deck. Now you guys can probably get off my back about asking for an Odd Eyes deck profile. Here you go. And if you guys have more videos to share, then be sure to send that link or whatever you have to the Duel Analysis, to duelanalysis@gmail.com. I'll catch you guys the next time. It's been TheCaliEffect, and it's been good.